In today's episode of Jazz Up Founder Spotlight, you're going to hear from Ana Malik. Ana Malik is a seasoned entrepreneur, and her latest venture is focused on providing luxury corporate wear for the corporate woman. So think Jessica Pearson from the show Suits. Anna is going to share with you lots of great advice, the challenges she's facing, the opportunities, the successes and wins that she's had, and I'm sure you're going to see certain things that are resonating with you. So keep watching. Okay, so this is the first ever episode of Jazz Up's Founder Spotlight. Today, our first guest is Ana Malik, and yeah, I'll let her introduce herself.
Well, I am honored to be your very first guest ever. So thank you for having me, Nii. My name is Ana Malik. I am the founder and CEO of Ana Malik, a women's clothing brand. We brings luxury and quality to your professional wardrobe. I'm originally from Mali, West Africa, born and raised, moved to the US back in 2012. It's been a while. Did my high school, undergrad and grad school here as well, where I focus on finance, entrepreneurship, because that's truly been my passion forever. And yeah, in finance, specifically venture capital and private equity. Other than that, did a lot of entrepreneurial projects throughout my school years, did a lot of business competitions, had some prior businesses before leading up to launching Anamali in 2022 and really ramping up with the launch of our online retail experience in 2023.
Nice. Okay, so that kind of jumps me into a particular section. How did you go from the finance world to the entrepreneurial and specifically animalic? How did that come about?
I'll say that I never really had to bridge the two because I always did both. So when I started my undergrad, I was focusing on finance, but I also had an entrepreneurship minor. So I always had business ideas. That's kind of what I wanted to do. And I actually I wanted to study fashion because I knew that was my passion. That was the thing that I really, really wanted to do. But not a lot of people are supportive of that coming from where I come from, especially certain African countries. I don't want to generalize here, but that was my experience. So I decided, okay, let me study business, which is general enough, and I can work in any industry I want. Still in the back of my head, I am going to have my fashion brand because that's what I want to do.
Mhm.
So when I started business school, I didn't know I wanted to focus on finance, took a lot of different classes, but eventually finance resonated with me a little more. It was a lot more dynamic, and there are different aspects to finance as well. Later on, I decided to focus on the investment side, venture capital and private equity, but I initially was studying like corporate finance, for example. So it has a lot of aspects to it. But as I've said, I always maintained that entrepreneurship side. I was doing business competitions. One of the business competition that I did was the Ithaca Demo Day where I got Audience Choice Award. And that was and it was always with the clothing brand concept. So that was my very first clothing brand. It was called Aniko Apparel, and I was making Western styles out of the beautiful African fabric that we have back home. And I spent some years selling in downtown Ithaca, in a local store. It was a really good experience and an entry point into real entrepreneurship outside of having ideas, but putting something from idea to paper to actual physical product that customers can buy. So I always combine the two, I'll be honest. And the choice for my MBA school and program was because of their entrepreneurship program as well. I was looking for a school where they care about entrepreneurship. I'll have opportunities to do business competitions and work on my ideas. And that is why I chose Simon, because they have the Mark Ain Entrepreneurship Center where you get great opportunities to pursue your ideas and try different things.
Nice. So just a shout out to University of Rochester Simon Business School because I'm class of 2022. She's class of 2023, correct?
Yep.
Okay, awesome.
Yes.
You mentioned a few things, but first I want to go through certain questions. Then I'll jump back to one of the questions that came up. So yeah, tell us about the brand. Who do you sell to? Why do you sell to them? And yeah, tell us a little bit more about all of that.
Yes. So Ana Malik is a brand that I named after myself because I literally created it out of a necessity. Back in grad school, we go through a lot of networking events and recruiting and interviews, multiple rounds of interviews. And with my classmates, especially the female classmates, we always talked about what am I going to wear to the job interview. And for some reason that was always the topic of conversation. And it was hard to find unique pieces that were not just a blue or black suit that had some shape to it or made it a little more fun while still being considered professional or just makes us as ladies feel comfortable in a professional setting because there is a little bit of undertones there as well, which I can talk about later from an experience that I had when I was back in undergrad. But that's how the idea came about. So I started exploring what are the options, right? I want quality. I want luxury because especially after grad school, we all want to upgrade our wardrobe. You're getting that new job, that new title, and you really want to step into it. And I always learned from my mom specifically the power of personal image and what clothes can do for you. Met Monday was Met Gala Monday,
Yeah.
and Dapper Dan, one of the people known for dandyism, has said something along the lines of the mission is not to dress young bodies, is to dress young minds. And that is actually something, even before I heard him say it, that's something that has always been part of my design ethos. It's
Right.
about how clothes make you feel. I wanted to design things that make you feel powerful, step into your corporate role in that boardroom, knowing that you are her, you're ready to get down to business. And that's honestly is what's behind my design ethos and quality, stylish things. And I sell to this, well, if you watch Suits,
Yeah.
the TV show,
Mm-hmm.
Jessica Pearson, I would say that's somebody who would be buying from me. Olivia
Ah.
Pope from
Mm-hmm.
Scandal would be buying from me. And when you think about like Lori and Barbara from Shark Tank, those are the kind of people who would be buying from me. But when you think about it from a broader lens, not just even people like Chris Jenner, for example, but from a broader lens, professional women, aspiring leaders, entrepreneurs, women who are leaders in their field and want to do great things. Those are my customer base because I'm here to support them in their endeavors and the brand really just empower you to step into your role fully um, with the confidence of Ana Malik fully behind you.
I like that you really have the persona just just down pat. I remember we spoke some time ago and you talked about the different personas that you had, and I like that you've attached it to actual characters in movies and TV shows that people can see. I want to look like Olivia Pope. I want to look like, what's the name of the lady in Suits?
Jessica Pearson.
Jessica Pearson. So
Yes, and
I
in
really
real
like.
talk, I always wanted to look like Jessica Pearson. And I'm like, why can't I find these pieces?
Mm,
Like, what? This look really good.
yeah.
This shouldn't just be like a TV series thing. People
Hmm.
should be walking around looking like that, in my
Yeah.
opinion.
Okay. I'm sure we can keep talking forever on that. So let's jump to the next question. you talked about having experience in entrepreneurship and so on, bringing experience from, all over finance and going into business school. So with all that knowledge and all the work you've put into Ana Malik, what stage do you feel you're currently in the company?
I would say that I still feel like I'm in the startup phase slash a little bit of growth. We are the industry that I'm pursuing is luxury is a luxury industry, and it takes a lot of time to build brand recognition, brand loyalty. It also takes a lot of capital. So that's what's slowing has kind of slowed things down a bit for me, but I'll definitely say I'm still in the startup phase for sure. Still building that brand loyalty, brand recognition, building my customer base, and building that tribe of strong, powerful women who are loyal to Ana Malik, who we serve, because we just want to empower women through fashion, and we're still building that customer base for sure.
What have you currently achieved so far, and what challenges have you faced in achieving that? And then flowing into the future, what challenges do you see yourself facing?
That's a very good question. Lots of challenges, but let me focus on what I've achieved so far. So we launched our retail experience, our e-commerce platform last year.
Okay.
So that's been a great milestone. So
Hmm.
people can purchase Animalic products all over the US for
Hmm.
now. So that's been really, really good. And I'm very proud of that. And in the second half of this year, we'll be in our first physical retail location in New York City. So that will be an amazing milestone for sure.
Wait, hold on. Let me applaud you. Let me applaud you for that.
Thank you,
So,
thank you, thank you.
go on. Yeah.
Yes, yes, that's been after months of work and challenges, but that will be happening second half of the year. So I'm really excited. Somewhere in Soho. So there will be more information on that coming up.
Mhm.
So those have been really, really good milestones. And I've been able to build great relationship with other entrepreneurs and founders and who I check in with monthly just to support each other. And having that tribe has been, I would consider a great success and milestone as well for me personally, even and for the business as well. Like we always learn from each other. A lot of challenges. As I've said, this is a very capital intensive industry. And for somebody who might not, well, the capital intensive side is important, but also having relationships in the fashion industry is important as well. There is some misconceptions that, oh, you can just get a loan, start your business. That is necessarily not what I have experienced. From my experience, they care about impressive sales numbers. But to get those sales numbers, you need to have money as well because you need to invest in marketing, you need to invest in a team, you need to there's a lot that goes into that, so you need money to make money,
Mhm.
but then you can't get money without having money. It's a very little it's a weird learning
Yeah.
curve, but I'll say that's been one of the biggest challenges for sure. So we are I said we're in the startup phase because we're still seeking those financial partners who can help us get to where we really need to be, because finance is really important. You can have design, you can have quality, you can have people loving your brand, but they at least need to know your brand exists. They need to see it, they need to feel it, and you need the right investors to help you do that. And on the other side, the relationships, having knowing people in the industry would help as well, because building relationship with stylists, for example, or knowing the right people to talk to would go a long way in getting your brand in front of the right people in the right places. And that's been my other struggles. As I've said, I'm a first generation immigrant from Mali, West Africa, so I don't really know people in the fashion industry, so to say. I'm a first generation everything, undergrad, grad. So it's a lot. It's I'm kind of paving. my own way, but you need people, you need help. Nobody can do it by yourself.
Yeah.
So I'll say that you definitely try to reach out to people, try to get as many people who can help you. You get a lot of no's for
Correct.
sure, but honestly, all you need is a few yeses. And that is part of our journey.
Yeah.
That's something we continue to do, reaching out to people. And the other thing is, one we definitely want to be in retail stores eventually. So the process of that also involves knowing people in the industry, having the right contacts. Because my process has mainly been a lot of cold emails and cold calling, which it is the return rate is really low.
Yeah.
So having the relationships in the industry would help as well. So those have been the main challenges, funding and relationships in the industry.
Yeah. Funding and relationships, the biggest challenges that you're facing.
Oh, actually, I
Yeah.
should add this one.
Mm.
The other challenge is you're literally pep talks to yourself, like keeping yourself motivated every day. I'll actually say is the most important thing, but the biggest challenge as well. Because there's so much IU all at once, all the time, especially in the startup phase when you're doing everything and having to be everything, that the biggest thing you're going to have to do is knowing that, keep reminding yourself that this is something you're passionate about. This is, you actually enjoy doing this. That's going to be the biggest challenge for sure. Actually, I can't believe we forget it sometimes, but that's going to be the most important thing.
Yeah, that's true. That I love that you said that because I was gonna ask you what advice you have. So I like that you made it a challenge and advice. One thing that I remember from my first job way back in the day, my manager said to me that when you have your own business, you have to learn to kick your own ass. Because when you're working for someone else, your boss, your manager, he's going to kick your ass to get the job done. But when you have your own company, you have to learn to kick your own ass, which is tough. I mean, you can try to do it physically. You know how tough it is physically. So that's something that I've taken all this like throughout how many decades I've been working. So I really appreciate that you said that.
Yeah, they're right. You're definitely gonna have to kick your own ass. You're gonna have to, there's gonna be a lot of pep talk for sure. You have to check yourself, you have to keep yourself motivated, you have to stand up for yourself and your business.
Mhm.
Because sometimes we forget, you have all these people coming in with different opinions, but usually this is something that you live and breathe, something you've been thinking about for years. They probably just heard it for 30 minutes, an hour.
True.
So you have to know how to be open to different viewpoints and opinions, but be able to also separate what is something you can be flexible on and what is something you cannot. You have to be really sturdy in your at least the general concept of your business, not how you do it,
Mhm.
but at least the core of why you're doing it. Because if you lose that, then you kind of just it's gonna you're gonna lose yourself for sure.
That's true. That's true. Um, how do you see a founder fitting into this? Do you have a founder? Do you like the idea of a founder? Do you think it's important to have a founder? What are your thoughts on that?
Like in an investor,
Like a co-founder, sorry. Yeah.
I think there could be a lot of values in having a co-founder for sure. I don't have a co-founder, but I'll say um there are pros and cons to it. When you have a co-founder, some people compare it to like having a marriage. You are going to have to deal with this person probably for a really long time. So you have to consider everything. Like you have to actually get along with this person. You have to be able to trust them.
Yeah.
And then you have to be able to like complement each other as well so that you can benefit from other strong points.
Mhm.
Not having a co-founder, you have a lot on you, but sometimes it can make it fast, like it can make it easier to move fast because you don't have somebody else to consult with. You have an idea, as long as you can test it, you test it. You don't need approval from somebody else. You don't need a lot of back and forth. Because as we all know, as teams grow, things usually slow down. So it's usually a lot easier to do things solo. But if I could have a co-founder, I definitely would take one on if the person, if I trust the person and then if I feel like the person is going to be complementary to me, I would have 100% consider something like that. Because as I mentioned, it's all, I think it's better to do things together. There's always value to having another at least mindset, different diversity of minds
Yeah.
usually adds value. So there is that aspect to having a co-founder as well. So there are pros and cons to it, but I think it would definitely add if you find the right co-founder to do things with.
Yeah, I like that. The right co-founder. That's the key thing right there. Someone who complements you, someone who can challenge you in the right way, but not put the ego first. I saw this podcast. I think it was Rob Wallen's podcast. He had a survey of founders in his fund, and what they realized was that companies with just one founders performed better than companies with two founders, but companies with three founders performed way better than one. That was weird, and his theory was that when it's just two people, ideas butt heads, and you can't really go for one or the other. But when there's a third person, that person acts as a tiebreaker to go with the right idea. So that kind of makes a little sense.
That makes sense. That definitely makes sense for sure.
Yeah.
And that goes to the piece of moving fast.
Moving
If you
fast,
have
yeah.
a tiebreaker, you're not going to be butting heads forever. Like the person will break the tie and then you try. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. Move on to the next option. But usually a lot of things that ruin businesses is not the inability to take action.
Correct. Yeah. You have that analysis paralysis and you're just stuck doing one thing. Yeah, that makes sense. Okay, so I know we touched on this, but do you have any other advice for people who are just starting out, people who are maybe stuck in the mud a bit? Do you have any additional advice?
Yeah, I would say that it's going to be harder than you think. But I heard Steve Harvey say this, like everything is hard. Like you just have to choose your heart. This is going to be really hard, but if you're really passionate about it, do it. So do something. I guess my advice would be do something you're passionate about.
Right.
Do something you actually care about and that impacts you. For me, for example, I only design things that I will wear, things that I literally wear to work, that I
Yeah.
feel confident in. That's the only thing. If I am not going to wear it, I'm not going to design it. So only make things that you will use, that you see the benefits in. Because no matter how much market research we do, we all like we're all humans. So my experiences, not everybody's going to have that shared experience, but there are going to be some people who have that shared experience.
Yeah.
So focus on what you know and what you're passionate about and what actually impacts you.
Mm.
That would be my advice for sure. And knowing that it's not going to be easy, but if you have the passion, you'll get through it for sure. And another advice would be just keep trying. Like somebody told me something about momentum building. You
Mhm.
might not see the results you want to see right away, but as long as you keep moving forward, eventually you will. Like you're building momentum. You're building on things slowly. Eventually it will actualize.
Yeah.
But just keep working on things. Keep momentum building.
Yeah. Okay, keep momentum building it. It's like a flywheel per se. Just getting that wheel moving at first is tough, but once it starts moving, it's like woo! Like people just it just keeps going.
Exactly.
Okay, so I have a few more questions before we end. So the first question is, how are you currently using AI, and are you using AI at all? If yes, what are you doing with it? If not, why not?
Well, I use AI a lot. ChatGPT is my best friend. I'm sure I can leverage AI in other ways, but I use it to come up with different campaign ideas. I did a LinkedIn campaign not too long ago, and AI really helped me kind of get a general outline of what it should look like, and even posting timelines. So that's been really good. Things that I just having not having to have to spend extra time on little details like that help a lot. Even email drafts. I also do use it to generate different images when I'm testing different ideas. For sure, because I'm a very big, when I design, I don't usually like sketch things out. I like to use different pictures and images to kind of have hands-on type of like actual have physical things, pieces together.
Kind of like a mood board, is it? Like a
Yes,
mood
kind of
board?
like a mood board type. And having AI helps with that as well. Like even in Photoshop, I can generate different images. And sometimes since it's generating it out of concepts, it creates something that I hadn't even thought about. Like I had a general idea, but the output actually is like, oh yeah, this could actually work. Or I'll be able to change it in a way, but it gives me like some base. So I really do enjoy that about the photo. I think it's like generative AI, the
Right.
Photoshop generative AI or something. But ChatGPT I use a lot for emails
Mm.
too.
Okay. You talked about finances earlier, and I want to go a little bit into finances, but in a hypothetical scenario. So, three questions. If you had $100,000, how would you use it on Ana Malik? And next, if you had only $10,000, how would you use it? And finally, if you only had $1,000, how would you use it?
Great question. $100,000, I would use it for definitely a PR firm to help with branding and getting the brand out there because that's something that I found out is really important for luxury brands. And also a physical location as well. So that would be really, really, those would be two key pieces. And then another thing, if there is money left over, would be my one of my goals and passions is definitely like a key goal is to do different collaborations with all these existing fashion houses like Ana Malik collaboration with Louis Vuitton, Ana Malik collaboration with Prada, Ana Malik collaboration with even Hermes, Fendi, to have special collections that are designed specifically to meet the needs of corporate women
Mm.
because they have these amazing pieces and we like the brand, but a lot of the pieces are not something that we're comfortable wearing around in the office.
Yeah.
I don't I personally like people do different things, but I personally wouldn't wear something that's like LV all over it into a meeting because it can be distracting.
Yeah.
I'm sure it's okay if somebody does it, but that's my personal preference. So I would like to design different lines where it's definitely something that is timeless and classic, and we get that quality and that brand prestige, but it's something that works for us.
Okay.
And I think knowing you having worked in corporate America and designing clothes, I think I would be the right partner to do that. So that's one of my key goals. And I would use that money to try to get those meetings and get that going for sure. For 10,000, that's a good question. I would invest in a pop-up event of some type,
Mm.
actually getting people together, having some of my pieces on display, having conversations with people, have people fill in surveys, like take that opportunity as well to get feedback. So
Mhm.
a pop-up event, I would use the 10,000 for that for sure. And give people food and drink, just make people feel great
Mhm.
during the event, but use it as a way to get business, to get feedback on our designs and
Yeah.
get the branding out there as well.
Then 1,000.
Ooh, what can I do? I would, hmm. Yeah, that one I've struggled with a little bit thinking about. For the 1,000, I would maybe try to throw a smaller event to get the money to go on farther on or do some kind of ad, but I think I would try to have some kind of in-person experience with that as well.
One thing I've picked out, one thread I've picked out through everything you've said is people facing. You're going to be focusing on the customer, on the people that make the decisions, and so on. So, okay, okay, great answer. I didn't know you'd you'd have a theme for it, but that's a great set of answers. Tell us about your website, where people can find you, your social media, and so on.
Yes. So you can purchase Ana Malik products at anamalik.com. We have vests, suits, blazers, dresses, all we have leather bags, all perfect for the office, the boardroom and beyond. Please check out anamalik.com. You can also find us on Instagram and Facebook under Ana Malik LLC, TikTok as well under Ana Malik LLC. And we can't wait to have you be part of our family, the Ana Malik family, because we're here to empower professional women all over the world.
Nice. So if you want to look like Jessica Pearson, you know where to go.
Yes.
Anna Malik.
We'll make you look like Jessica Pearson. I mean, Jessica Pearson won't have anything on you by the time we're done.
Nice.